They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. They will hunger no more and thirst no more. The sun will not strike them, nor any scorching heat. My friends, that is the happy ending. For the Lamb at the center of the throne will be their shepherd. He will guide them to springs of the water of life, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. And this is the Feast of All Saints. I suspect we need this feast right now. I know I do. In the midst of a world marked by chaos, suffering, death, hate, war, citizens of a nation marked by our broken politics, by a social contract distorted by lies, by ever-increasing violent acts against one another, by hate and fear and greed given credence by a kind of debased Christianity that bears no resemblance to gospel truth. We need this feast, perhaps, to remember who we are. By the great mystery of death and resurrection, the same blood forces Israel over the being, the blood of Christ. The Feast of All Saints marks a season to lead through the family album that the church began to keep after she finished writing the New Testament. We have accrued over the centuries a calendar full of the more or less famous saints. After Peter, Paul, and Mary, Magdalene, and the rest, comes a long line of martyrs and mystics and missionaries, preachers, and prophets, and prelates. Lesser feasts we call the days set aside to remember them. For Christians like us, our roster of saints has less to do with inexplicable miracles performed by pious Christians, and more to do with magnificent obsessions on the part of an odd lot of otherwise quite fallible folk. And our list gets longer all the time. Some more recent additions. C.S. Lewis, the Oxford professor of medieval literature, the most popular and effective explainer of Christian faith in the 20th century. Surprise will excuse the expression by joy. Faith, when an experience of utter grace astonishingly overtook his ordinary life, and forever after with Lewis, everyday reality. It's his books, his fairy tales, Lewis gives us a wondrous realm, a realm full of witches and wizards and talking beasts, a realm in which battle between good and evil and permeating imagine the shape of all nation. Sanctified imagination was Lewis' special genius. Give to us the invitation to open our own imaginations and wander into a gospel realm. Let it change us. William Temple. He was the Archbishop of Canterbury during World War II. His witness reminds us that a nation's burning issues around social, economic, or international questions must be placed under the judgment of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that intellectual inquiry is a critical element in Christian life. What are my favorites? New one. Thurgood Marshall. Before becoming the first African American justice of the United States Supreme Court, as a lawyer, he argued 30 cases before the court. The most famous, Brown, which is the Board of Education. And the court ruled that the separate and equal doctrine was unconstitutional and ordered the desegregation of public schools across the nation. And the Justice Marshall compiled a long and impressive record of decisions on civil rights, human rights, across many categories. Harriet Tubman. She escaped slavery and found safety in Canada, but then continued to return again and again to the South to lead hundreds of enslaved people to freedom. 20th century martyrs like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Martin Luther King Jr., Janani Luo, Archbishop of Uganda, they must remind us that martyrdom is not only about ancient history. The church makes no claim to the list of the famous faithful of our Christian family tree is an exhaustive one. Only that these are representative witnesses. Not superheroes, but perhaps more like spiritual idiots savants Each one possessed her own particular genius for God, amid all their human limitations. And that when they are assembled into the family portrait gallery, it should manifest the collective capacity to show forth to all generations the many faces of God. The monarchs, the martyrs, the mystics, the teachers, the preachers, the failures, and the fools. They're more than relics of our chequered Christian past. The portraits as well, the future that God is present. The Feast of All Saints pushes us to brass by divinity. The Feast of All Saints reminds us that God has won the victory over evil and death. Despite having too much evidence to the contrary. The Feast of All Saints tells us that we gaze upon the face of God in one another. The feast is not about heroics, but about hope. The same hope that was heard by the crowd and followed a man up a mountain long ago. The same hope, I think, that draws us here. Blessed are the poor in spirit, who theirs the kingdom of God. Hope for all who face the gap between the experience of difficult and despairing realities, the blessings pronounced by Jesus upon them. Hope for all who dare to live as if those blessings are true. Hope even for those who die trusting in their fulfillment. This feast is about the paradox of the Beatitudes, that Jesus' blessings call into being a community that is well-versed in fragility, vulnerability, and powerlessness of poverty, grief, and depression. That Jesus' blessings create a community of broken, hurting, passionate people who have only a vision of wholeness and holiness of each other and Him. People who long for a justice they cannot see in their world, who extend a mercy that they do not receive from their world, who work for peace that they have never known in their world. And that it is always this Jesus who bridges the gap between our own realities and the hope of announcing. The kingdom of heaven is already given to those who stand with Him in the breach, to those who would hold together with Him by their lives and love His broken word and the happiness of heaven. The crowds still come, seeking comfort, hope, and truth. And here we are, gifted in so many ways, with varying marks of fragility, all of us, spiritual, emotional, physical, or economic. But bearing as well the marks of faithfulness, in a piece of broken bread and who tastes from a cup of leavened wine. The Feast of All Saints, another paradox. The party with its invitations addressed to the living and the dead, decorated with symbols of absence, loss, and death, because they are as well the signs of presence, victory, and resurrection. The columbarium you carry the earthly remains of your own departed, and the font to which you carry your babes, they speak the same truth. The truth of the cross, with its deathly witness of ultimate human fragility and failure, and ultimate faithfulness. The truth of an empty tomb, where absence is now the promise of blessed and blessing, and the sign of ultimate victory. The Feast of All Saints, my friends, the parties and annual parties to the God's revelation, because all are invited. All the fragile, foolish, despairing seekers of God, who are in fact bearers of God's blessings. All who have to live, all who long to live, as if His blessings are true. This company that bridges the gap between our ugly realities and the happiness of heaven. Because within this blessed company still and always resides our God, the presence of Christ, and the promise of the kingdom. There was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, from every tribe and peoples and languages, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, and robed in white palm branches in their hands. They cried out with a loud voice, saying, Salvation belongs to our God, who is seated on the throne, and to the Lamb. It is not the good deeds of the saints that we celebrate this day, but the triumph of God. The victory of God, who at the last will reconcile all of creation. God. God's complicated book of Revelations pushes us, as he pushes our congregation, to let go of anguished questions about survival, to ponder the purposes of God, and to align ourselves with all the ways that purposes are already being realized. In acts of justice, forgiveness, hospitality, generosity, indeed, imbued with courage and compassion, and above all, hope. In a world still dark and dangerous and broken, the Feast of All Saints reminds us that here, goodness does not yet triumph, only hope. And that must be enough for you and me, as it was for all those saints who came before us. Hope that points us to our dreams, fulfillment and intimacy and holiness and healing for all creation, even as it reminds us that we have not arrived at our The Feast of All Saints proclaims at the end of human existence, not about death, but resurrection. The Feast of All Saints says something more than the fact that we have been preceded by a great cloud of witnesses. Greater claim, friends, is that we are surrounded by these still. With angels and archangels and with all the company of heaven. We laud and magnify that thy glorious name evermore praise.